Okay, so it's been a while since we had a look at the ups and downs of our Lord and Saviour Adam Sandler's career. If you haven't seen that video, I recommend pausing this one right now and checking that out so you can get up to date with what I think of him and how he's changed as a filmmaker, actor and all that. Anyway, so the time has finally come. Here in Australia we couldn't watch Uncut Gems because it wasn't screened here for some weird reason, but after a while it is now on Netflix for us to enjoy. And boy did I enjoy it. There's so much I love about Uncut Gems. The Safdie brothers, who were behind another great movie, Good Time, have such a unique style and is what really makes Uncut Gems different from your average drama thriller. The film is, I guess what you could say, aesthetically pleasing. There are many cool visuals involving the gem and great use of colour in some scenes. But it's not just what we're seeing on screen that hooks us in. It's that never-ending sense of stress, anxiety. I mean, if you have seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And it's created by a few things. For one, people talk over each other, they yell, argue. But this movie actually feels real. Because in real life, people don't talk like in the movies. They don't wait for someone else to finish their line. And in the most stressful parts, it feels super realistic because it's hard to tell what everyone's trying to say in some scenes. But it never gets confusing to follow, even though it's so chaotic. That's what's so great about it. Another thing you'll notice about this movie is that there's mostly close-up and mid-shots throughout the film. There's barely any long shots, which really adds to that claustrophobic feel. It also could be the reason why like 3 people I've talked to so far about the movie have said they had to pause the movie like halfway through because it was getting too stressful and making them anxious. And I think it had to do with a few of those things. But sound plays a big part in this as well, not just the camera. Like in this scene when Harry is punched, the sound level of the fountain water is increased. The noise of the water almost becomes like sinister and makes it just more uncomfortable to watch. It's little things like this that make this movie so effective. The situations Howie, Adam's character, gets himself into also make it very hard to watch. Yet you're always engaged to see what could happen next because it's kind of unpredictable. The intensity is also elevated by the soundtrack, which adds that extra layer of chaos in the most intense parts. But the music is really cool though. It's kind of a mix of modern and old school sort of sounds. Like there's some jazz and saxophone in some parts. But it's mostly very 80s sci-fi as well. It's hard to explain, but it's very much its own thing. You could say the music is almost like the diamonds themselves, twinkling in the nighttime. Okay, sorry. Anyway, the story itself is really good, even if it's fairly simple. It basically just follows Howie, whose character is always looking for his next big score in his life, and him as a jeweler in New York City, who's also kind of a con man, and he's kind of a mess. We see how much of a mess he is, and he makes bad decisions, his career and family life are falling apart, but with this new opal that's introduced into the movie fairly early on, his search for the next big win with this thing leads him to reach that goal no matter what it takes. Look, I want you guys to watch this movie, so I'm not going to spoil too much. And I plan to kind of have a full discussion sort of video in the future with some friends, because there is quite a lot you could delve into with the ending. I mean, I'm sure there's all sorts of explanations people have tried to come up with and all sorts of interpretations. But the ending was really good anyway, but we won't get into it. But let's focus on why I'm really making this video. Yeah, this film it was amazing, it was unique, and everyone else had great performances besides Adam, but let's just focus on the man himself. This movie's material is definitely given justice by Adam Sandler. What a sexy man. This has got to be the best dramatic performance he's ever given. You don't have to sympathise with Howie as a character. I mean, what happens to him during the movie isn't a surprise. Him making bets and not paying money he owes is all to get him in the trouble that he does get into. But Adam portrays this guy who's really just a chaotic con man of a character really well. And apparently, in preparation for the role, he shadowed real-life jewelers in the Diamond District and kind of got an insight into their professional and personal lives. I mean, you got to give him credit for that. Of course, like I said, the material is really good, so big props have to go to the writing of his character and, well, you know, the entire film. There's one scene I really thought showcased Adam's ability to portray this flawed, sort of helpless loser guy perfectly. Howie doesn't clearly have the best relationship with his daughter, and in one scene we see him quite vulnerable going up against her. We see in his facial expressions and in the weakness in his voice that he's kind of just lost anything he had with her. And that goes for his wife too. Howie also acts as if he's some top dog guy. He wears all this expensive clothing, he acts as if he's rich, he has it all, but really he's powerless. And he's broke. He lets his gambling issues and flaws weigh him down. And Sandler really did it well. It was a well-written character, and I think he fit it perfectly. Okay, of course, there's the signature Adam Sandler gibberish.
The testicle with legs.
Voice throughout the film. I mean, it's not like bad, like Jack and Jill level.
Well, get off the phone, you psycho! It means I can't stand you.
But it actually works really well. There's also one part where there seriously seems to be no hope for Howie. That was really heartbreaking. He breaks down, he's drooling, he's ugly, his raw emotion is just shown. And that scene on my first and second viewing really got to me. Sandler really gave it his all. And you know that Howie isn't right half the time and he really needs to change his ways, but even then, it's too late for him. It's harrowing to see him get this low and to see this character break like that. Even if you think all along he had it coming, it's still hard to watch. Okay, look, another thing I want to talk about is kind of getting deep, but hear me out. Here is Theo going full analysis nerd mode. My take on the gem itself is that it actually represents the part of Howie that wants to win, or for anyone in that matter. The part of Howie that wants more and more, the greedy, thirsty, extravagant part of ourselves. It's what drives Howie to want the money in the first place, to want success. It even helps Kevin Garnett, who, by the way, plays himself in this movie. He tries to buy the gem of Howie throughout the film, because when he sees it, it speaks to him and almost puts him under a trance. A need to win. That first scene where Howie gets the gem, he stares into it like it's showing him all the power he could have in the world. A nice touch the Safdie brothers did was add a subtle effect on Adam's eyes in the scene to kind of show how he is, like I said, in a trance state from the gem. I mean, look, that's just my take on it. It's probably wrong, but that's the way I kind of view it. I don't know if that's what they were going for, but there's definitely a connection between Howie and the gem. Also, another random thing is that The Weeknd is in this film. He plays himself, but it's set when he just started to get recognition as an artist, so it's kind of like 2012, I think. I guess that was cool. I mean, his presence in the movie did actually lead to another event occurring later on. I won't spoil it. Okay, so Adam did win an Independent Spirit Award for Best Male Actor, and of course, I think he deserved it. To be honest, I think he deserved an Oscar nomination, I mean, even a Golden Globe, a BAFTA, anything, because, it really annoys me. He did such a good job, and, I mean, he only got recognized from one, source of award thing. But hey, look, there is some good in this situation. For one, his speech for the award he did was funny as hell.
Hello, my name is Adam Sandler. Thank you. As I received the so-called Best Actor trophy, independently speaking, of course. First off, it's great to see our host Aubrey Plaza again. Aubrey and I did a movie entitled Funny People 11 years ago. That was actually the last time critics pretended not to hate me for 5 fucking minutes.
And Adam said a while back if he didn't get recognition from the Academy, he would actually make a terrible movie right after as kind of an FU to all of them. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but if it does follow through, it'd be pretty funny to say the least. I do know that he has a Halloween comedy film coming this year, which I'm excited for, but I don't know much about that. But yeah, all in all, I'm very, very happy about this. Like I predicted in my last video on Adam Sandler, he's going places. He's shining once again. Adam has opened a whole new spectrum in his career moving forward, and I hope he does more of these sorts of roles because he really has proven he can be really great with the right movie alongside his sexy face. I hope I can come back here and talk about him again, and I'm sure I will. Sandman, if you're watching this, don't ever change. We love you. We always will. Drive safe.
Anybody who ever worked on any of the comedies I did over the years, you guys, I love you, and I'm glad we did all that work together, and the Safdies and Noah and everybody liked our stuff enough to put me in their stuff. So, I truly want to thank my kids for reading Uncut Gems and saying, Dad, you gotta fucking do this movie. Fantastic stuff. And my wife, I love you. Thanks for running lines with me, and thanks for hanging out with me, and we had some fun on this one. So I love you, and thanks everybody for, it's a great night. I appreciate it.
Scared to see the stripe into my underwear!